then from this board, from what I'm hearing, to direct county staff to work with Solid Waste of Willis on the South Coast Agreement. Is that, okay? I think it's, should we vote on that, or do we just do it on
It says
consensus?
provide direction.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Chair.
But I want a consensus of the whole board here, because there's no sense in having solid waste and the Department of Transportation and all that to get involved if there isn't the consensus of the board.
And perhaps they could discuss if it makes sense to do anything at Boonville or not. And I don't know the answer to that, but I don't want to limit them.
So is there consensus for South Coast and Boonville
To be discussed.
to be discussed? Okay, Supervisor Brown.
Mr. Ward has a
Sure.
question.
Thank you. I just want to bring up that this process has been going on for 2 years, and our back-end contracts, as we call them, for the 4 of the container sites have expired. It'll be 2 years this June, and we can't wait anymore. We were hoping this privatization would be taken care of last year. I can't speak for Waste Management, but they are not interested in continuing to service their 2 sites at the current rates because of fuel costs, insurance costs, etc. The South Coast Transfer Station container site agreement expires in 5 months. I'm not going to continue to do it at that rate. That rate was set 3 years ago. You've got some big costs coming up for running these sites on the back end. Well, we're recommending if you're going to keep delaying this and negotiating it out, let's go to bid. Let's go to bid now, put these out to bid. I didn't want this to happen because I wanted the privatization to work. But we cannot, from solid waste's perspective, continue to do this at the cost we bid 45 years ago. So that's the animal that I wanted to go away. The numbers that are in our agreement are based on higher fuel costs, today's insurance costs with liability, workers' comp, everything's in there to continue on in today's environment, not 5 years ago. And you have been operating these savings, as Emmett said earlier, we're subsidizing the county with the rates that we're providing on the back end now. So let's go to bid. We're not going to sit around and wait anymore. It isn't going to work. Waste Management can speak for themselves, but from what I've heard, they're not happy with the rates that they're charging Casper and Boonville.
So the direction is to direct staff to work with Solid Waste of Willis on the South Coast and the Boonville sites. Is that clear? Okay. With that, I think that.
Yeah.
What would you, is a reasonable time frame?
Howard,
I don't want to tell you, you tell me what the time frame is. 90 days?
I think we could start meeting in
60?
60.
quickly.
60 days?
Talking about it, yeah.
Can we get a report back from 90, or 60, within 60 days? Okay, good. Thank you. One last comment. Linda McClure, I want to respond to your comments about me being a friend of Jerry Ward. I would like to thank, first of all, I've been pushing privatization of our solid waste facilities, transfer stations since 1995, right after the county closed, put chains across the landfills, because we didn't have any money to do it. We didn't have any money to do it in the county side then. We don't have any money to do it on the county side now. And I'd like to think, as far as a friend, I'd like to think that every business person that operates in Mendocino County is a friend of this supervisor. Thank you. With that, we're going to move on to our timed item at 2 o'clock.
Thank you, Board.
Folks. Can we,
Yeah, Matt?
yeah, we need our legislative, we can move this forward. I realize we have a timed item here. We'll, right after this legislative report, we'll move into that. Yeah. No, let's keep that. We'll be talking about it more.
I don't see this. I don't see legislative being timed.
No, I don't think it was. Oh, the addendum. Was it
here.
timed on the
was.
addendum?
Yes, yes,
Yes, it
Yeah.
was.
yeah.
Completely.
Mr. Chair, if you'd like me to introduce this item.
Sure.
Thank Thank you, Tom Mitchell, Chief Executive Officer. We'll try and be quick for members of the audience and apologize for running behind schedule. What the board has before you today is the current proposal from the Executive Office that has been given through the General Government Committee regarding the county's legislative proposal for this year. This is not legislative issues per se. This relates to our earmark requests that we typically submit at this time of year to Senator Feinstein, Senator Boxer, and to our other legislative advocates, Congressman Thompson. We normally seek your board's approval of the projects that we're recommending. We have tried to take an approach that we're looking at different sources of funds. So the 8 projects that you see before you today is varied. It is something that we have spent a great deal of time over the last several weeks with our Washington, D.C. lobbyist, Paul Schlesinger, and how we think we can be the most successful with getting funds for these projects. What you're seeing is totally independent of the economic stimulus proposals that are floating around Congress. These, again, are specific earmarks that we're requesting for various projects that we think are beneficial for Mendocino County. We've taken a balanced approach, I believe, and there are some private partnerships here that we're doing, working with the hospitals and the rural clinics. There are some areas that we see some benefit for instance, Noyo Harbor, for the city of Fort Bragg. There are specific areas that you target when you're looking for funds for these various programs. Typically, the maximum number of projects that we can submit for consideration is 8. And so we're giving you this 8. The reality is we do not expect all 8 of these to be funded. It depends on what's happening, what the mood is in Congress, and quite frankly, which projects are sellable. Supervisor Smith and I will be going to Washington, D.C. at the end of this month. We have individual meetings scheduled over 2 days with our legislative representatives to talk about these particular projects. So Lisa Bedenford is here. She has been spending an enormous amount of hours developing this program over a short period of time due to the departure of Paul Kaler. And between the two of us, I think we can address any of your concerns. That concludes my presentation.
Well, good afternoon. Lisa Badenfort, Senior Administrative Analyst in the County Executive Office. First and foremost, I really want to I want to thank the department heads that participated in helping me through this process. Some of them have arrived and come to the meeting today in case there are questions about projects that I'm not able to answer because there's only been so much time to learn some history. So if there are kind of some more in-depth questions that may be beneficial to you, then they are here and they are more than willing to comment on their particular proposal. So I assume that everybody has a booklet. If we go right to the first page on ranking, Supervisor Smith had asked me last week about, did we really need to rank these projects? At least for Senator Feinstein, Senator Boxer, we do, and Paul Schlesinger, our federal consultant, has suggested that the county go ahead and do rank all of the projects. You'll notice that there are 2 different lists. And the list that is going to go, the order of priority that these proposals will go to Congressman Thompson are a bit different